Hey friends, Father Matt Bolter here, coming from my office slash study in St. George's Episcopal Church in Austin, Texas. I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about something I'm very excited about, and that is a reading group that I am going to be leading this spring semester on one of my favorite authors, David Bentley Hart. We're going to be discussing this book, All Things Are Full of Gods, The Mysteries of Mind and Life. I'm very excited about this opportunity. I'm grateful to the Methexis Institute. I'll say more about that in a minute for helping to sponsor this event. Let me say some brief words about David Bentley Hart in general. Sometimes I ask myself, is there a thinker, an author in the Christian world coming from a Christian perspective in the 21st century who might be kind of like a modern day C.S. Lewis, who's really articulating the truths of the Christian faith in a register that can really connect with people today in the 21st century? I think the answer is yes. And I think that that person is David Bentley Hart. David Bentley Hart uh, has really changed my life in a lot of ways. Sometimes I say to people that he's actually saved my faith. This book, which is the first book of his that I read, called The Experience of God, Being, Consciousness, and Bliss, is amazing. In this book, he talks about how God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit is being, consciousness, and bliss. And he bases that claim in some historical truths having to do with Vedic religions and the Sanskrit language. This book is amazing, Being, Consciousness, and Bliss, The Experience of God. The book that we're going to be discussing this spring, All Things Are Full of Gods, in some ways is a sequel to this book, The Experience of God. So if you have read this, then you're in a great position to be able to read this. But there's a couple of other books I want to talk about. First off, The Beauty of the Infinite was one of maybe David Bentley Hart's first popular book. And I think that this was a revision of his dissertation. I will be honest, I have not finished this book. I know many people who love it, but a book that I have finished not once, but twice is Roland in Moonlight, which is probably in the top 5 books that I've ever read. This book is about a talking dog and how Roland, this talking dog, helps the author, David Bentley Hart, also the narrator, as well as the reader, to re-enchant the world, and speaking of re-enchantment, that leads me to the other thing that I wanted to say about All Things Are Full of Gods. I haven't finished this book yet. It's not short, but I'm probably about a third of the way through it at this point. And I want to give you 2 reasons why I think this book is very, very relevant for our cultural moment today. For anyone who's trying to make sense, maybe from a theological, a philosophical perspective, anyone who's wanting to make sense of how to think about some of the things that are happening in our culture, in our world today. And there's really 2 such areas. And the first one does have to do with disenchantment, the disenchantment of our world, and in particular, our natural environment, and how the disenchantment of the world, the fact that fewer and fewer people have meaningful connections with nature. We could talk on and on about that, but how that is leading to climate catastrophe. That is one issue. The disenchantment of the world leading to climate catastrophe, the fact that our world is viewed more and more as a machine, and in fact it's becoming more of a machine, the lived experience of everyday people, how that is leading to climate catastrophe. That's one of 2 issues that if you were to read this book and discuss it with us, I think it would give you very profound resources about how to think about that. The second one is AI, artificial intelligence, and in particular, generative AI and large language models, and how more and more we're living in a world that is dominated by artificial intelligence. Is AI conscious? questions like that are very important. And I would argue strenuously that this book gives us the resources to think about questions like that. At one level, you could say that this book is about philosophy of mind. However, I don't really like to think about that in such narrow. I don't like to think about the book in terms as narrow as that, because I think that this book is about much, much more than just what philosophers of mind talk about. But those are two reasons why I would commend this book, two ways in which this book is extremely relevant to our day. Number one, the disenchantment slash mechanization, the machine like character of our contemporary world, which is leading the climate catastrophe. And then secondly, ways to think about artificial intelligence that are theologically grounded, metaphysically grounded, grounded in philosophy. The last thing I want to do with y'all, actually, before I go to my next thing, I'm just going to share my screen and show you the graphic for this event. It is going to be called Eros Speaks, a discussion of David Bentley Hart. All things are full of gods. We're going to host this event at Lazarus Brewery. Wonderful beer, but also wonderful coffee, tacos, and other yummy things to eat and drink. Lazarus on Airport here in Austin, about a mile from where I'm sitting right now, at 6:30 p.m. on the fourth Tuesdays of the month. The fourth Tuesdays of the month. And so, yeah, what I want to do last, finally, is just share with you the schedule of how this will work. Maybe you're thinking about joining us, but maybe you're not sure if you can fit it into your schedule, or maybe you're worried about the daunting nature of the reading. That totally makes sense to me. Let's talk about the schedule a little bit. So it's going to be on the fourth Tuesday of every month: January, February, March, April, May, June. And what we're going to do is we're going to have two tracks, okay? If you are someone like I am who wants to read the whole book, great. There are 6 days in this book: day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. And all of those 6 days contain sub-chapters, which are broken down into various smaller topics. If you are someone who wants to read the book with us, the entire book, great. On the fourth Tuesday in January, we will tackle day 1, Mind, Life, and Pictures of Reality. That comprises almost 90 pages. Some of y'all are going to do great at that. Similar things hold for day 2. It's pretty long, pretty tough, but well worth the effort. Day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, okay? But maybe you're sitting there thinking, there's no way that I can read that many pages. This is a really thick book. Here's what I want to suggest. I want to suggest that you consider joining us on the fourth Tuesdays of the month this spring semester, but only focusing on day 1. One of the things that I have realized when going through this book, and by the way, I've also been reading it with the audiobook from audible.com. It's great, highly recommended. One of the things that I've realized is that day 1, which consists of 6 sub-chapters, is also a phenomenal set of texts. In fact, I would say that day 1 is probably a bird's eye view of the entire book. You could think of day 1 as a preliminary summary of the entire book. So one option for this group would be simply for you to focus on day 1. And if that's you, then you would read in January a total of about 22 pages, February a total of about 13 pages, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I hope that this makes sense. Let me also say that if you're someone who might be interested in track 2, the smaller reading assignments, let me know. I would be more than happy to photocopy that material and get that to you. I don't think that would be a copyright infringement at all. But the last thing I want to say is that our 7th gathering is going to be actually with David Bentley Hart himself. He has agreed to meet with us in a hybrid format. We do not have a date for that yet. It's still to be determined, but I can imagine that that would be in the month of July, but who knows? That's definitely flexible. I just wanted to put out this video and invite you to join me and some other really wise, thoughtful people on the fourth Tuesday of every month in January, February, March, April, May, and June to discuss this book by David Bentley Hart, All Things Are Full of Gods. If you have questions, comments, let me know. I think that if you're seeing this video, you probably know how to reach me. Thank you so much, and Godspeed.